Oak Island has once again revealed a secret that could permanently change the course of history. The most recent official excavation has uncovered anything noteworthy after years of excavation and millennia of speculation, evidence that shouldn't be there, buried far underneath. Many theories have been put out to explain this, ranging from a pirate treasure to the Templar Knights Island, but this discovery differs from all previous findings. Perhaps the most important discovery in Oak Island history has just been made by Laganina and their team, Marty and Rick. Keep an eye out, because the world will be in utter wonder at what they have found beneath the surface, an epiphany that changes everything. This was more than just a random hole in the ground. Rick was greatly orientated to this location. There used to be a shipyard nearby, garden, the kind of area where people could have hidden something important. A long time ago, they were not merely hunting down old coins or rusty implements. We were searching for a more important thing, maybe a secret passage, a hidden room, maybe something that could finally confirm that all the old stories are true. A cold wind then sprang from the darkness below like a whisper and drifted upward from the one before it, something pending or long forgotten. Across the island, however, to researchers DRs, Fred and Ian Spooner were examining their own Michael mystery. They found something at the excavation site after looking at the nearby dirt and water. Strange. Trace levels of non-fitting metals. These were no ordinary island rocks. A reference to treasure was made by these metals. Maybe silver or gold, or something even rarer. Nobody could say for sure, but it was enough to force them to focus all of their efforts on this one place. Anticipation was in the air. When the drill was switched on, it was this, their last chance of the season before winter forced them to stop. They failed now, so they would be waiting months to receive a second dose. Huddled together, everyone watched, waited, and wished. Their dreams went unchecked as the drill bit its way through the ground. What would happen if something was found? Huge. A forgotten piece of history, a route into a secret area, and a box full of gold coins. Indeed, having money would be wonderful. But it wasn't only about wealth. It was to prove that years of sweat, toil, and perseverance had not been wasted. The search had a personal meaning for each of them. Some wanted their names to be recorded. Some wanted to prove they were right all along, while others wanted to become financially independent. But in the end, they all had the same dream, a discovery they could finally survive the world. Hour after hour, they checked and rechecked their equipment. There was presently no room for mistakes. The drill's incessant buzz acted as a reminder. They were getting closer and closer. Maybe today would be the day they made history. Every year, Oak, the team had to break up and wait for spring as the island got colder. They knew how disappointing it could be to dig endlessly and find just mud and sand. Oak Island did not share its secrets furiously, but this time it seemed different. This time, the evidence was more compelling. The trail was marked by unusual metals in the soil, old maps, and an urge that would not go away. There seemed to be only one conclusion to all of this. The drill kept grinding, cutting through centuries worth of pristine material. Hope always surged when it encountered opposition. It might have been constructed of wood, maybe stone, maybe something that was made by hand. Their enthusiasm increased with the depth of their excavation. Nobody dared to leave now, not when they were this near. The researchers hurried inside when the first core samples showed up. They searched all over. Rare. This wasn't just dirt, as evidenced by metal pieces and signs of human construction. Then it happened. They found the sample deep within, a worn, dark, dirt-covered piece of metal that was clearly shaped by human hands. It was not intended to be present. It was evidence. Evidence that there is something valuable hidden, much deeper. Word spread swiftly over the website. As the crew gathered, they talked about their excitement and speculated. Does this form part of a larger framework, a chest? For long, a secret chamber was closed up. None of them wanted to pause, although there were innumerable possibilities. The dig had just taken on a considerably more serious tone. The drill team adjusted their tools and proceeded, closely monitoring the core samples as they came out, one by one. There was a chance of a breakthrough discovery in every new stratum of the earth. The researchers looked at each sample, carefully running their hands over every tiny part, searching for anything inappropriate. They found more little gold flecks in the ground, which indicated that they were close to something amazing. Then something unexpected occurred. They found something solid as they continued to dig. After straining and moaning, the drill finally came to a halt. There was more than just rock and dirt here. This was not all there was to it. Entirely, a structure, a hidden safe. Everyone knew what was going to happen next, even if nobody knew. Excavating was required. In Rick's last dig of the season, an EXC was discovered in a region near the old shipyard garden while excavating near the site. He hoped that this would be their big find. They weren't just digging holes at random. They were specifically searching for clues, like a hidden room or subterranean safe. Their plan was to drill straight to the location to see what they might find. Dr. Ian Spooner, Dr. Fred Michael, and I were busy with our own research on Oak Island somewhere else. They have been finding strange metals all over the area, and they didn't think nature had them. They had chosen a site, or Colony 514, to dig a new hole while they inspected the water. Near the historic shipyard yard, they hoped to find some precious metals by drilling down around 100 feet. They believed it would lead to the finding of other precious jewels in addition to gold. We have the chance to actually use this to hunt treasure as a group, and we will make one big swing. The metal markers they found gave the researchers some degree of confidence that they were significant. They believed they had found the perfect place. Where could some assets be hidden? They had a thorough awareness of the area and had some intuition about it. Might be very important. The whole group was buzzing with the idea that they might find something very special at this moment. As they got the drill ready, the excitement was palpable. Everyone is uncertain whether this is the breakthrough they had hoped for. Their excitement grew as the drill progressed. They knew this was their attempt to end the season. They would have to wait a full year before trying again if they had discovered nothing. The group's excitement grew as the practice went on. They discussed the potential for amazing findings. What if this place ended up being the breakthrough they were hoping for? What if they find more than a handful, old coins or scrap metal, but a substantial sum of money that could gain notoriety? There was more to this quest than just finding wealth. The intention was to show that the best was yet to come and that their years of commitment and diligence had been worthwhile. Hurry up. Drilling down 50 to 60 feet was their aim, after which they could start drilling sideways and vertically. As a result of some of their most encouraging tests for water samples that had shown signs of gold and silver, they were hoping to find a tunnel that was connected to this shaft. From identifying unusual constructions to confirming historical stories, they had high hopes for this website. Each member of the team had personal reasons for being there, whether it was to launch new projects to protect their future financial security, or just to be a part of an important discovery. There were practical considerations as well. They discussed how they would respond in the event that they learned something significant, deciding who to call and what to do next. As the day progressed, the team checked and checking their equipment once more before going over their notes to make sure everything was ready. Even though they had seen enough setbacks to keep their expectations reasonable, they were nevertheless motivated by hope. The practice's continuous sound served as a reminder that they were getting close to the prospect of making a big discovery. They watched and waited, hoping the last drill of this season would reveal the long-lost treasures from Oak Island. Every year, as the oak is buffeted by cold winter winds, Craig, Rick, Marty, Alan, and their group wrap up another treasure hunting. Furthermore, as a reward for their hard work, the season almost invariably ends with rising frustration and mountains of nothing but sand. They have access to detailed maps and cutting-edge equipment that suggests there might be precious metals concealed beneath, but the treasure itself remains intact, stubbornly hidden. There is a lot of excitement up the drill every time they shoot. Everyone is waiting impatiently to see if the next core that is taken out of the earth will finally reveal anything amazing, but they keep bringing up the same thing: sand. More sand. A dull soul crushes the endless sand. The worst is when sand and thick clay mix. It complicates the process and blocks the channels they are trying to explore. And more challenging, they are slowed down by clay, but it also hides the water surface of their search, both physically and figuratively. The crew remains resolute and holds onto optimism with every fresh sample. As the temperature continues to drop, but picking through useless sand is a never-ending task that wears you out. Aspira is a never-ending task that wears you out. Aspira. Aspiration are repeatedly dashed by yet another pile of pointless items. Drilling into the ground poses an extra risk for everyone. Another moment of anticipation, another bitter letdown. It is more challenging since every setback takes away at the precious time they have left before the island is totally shut down by the bitter cold. As the season progresses, the cold becomes more intense, serving as a constant reminder that their window for searching is closing. The crew is trying to remain positive despite the findings being stubbornly empty. and long days continue into evenings spent having chats. I wonder whether the difficult clay and sand mixture isn't just bad luck, but rather a part of something bigger, an antiquated system that was intentionally designed to protect any undiscovered wealth below. Maybe they think that this challenging barrier was intentionally placed here, a wall of defense built to hide secrets. There are still many things to finish as the season draws to a close. The team has to clean and maintain their equipment, look over the vast amounts of data they have collected, and carefully consider every detail as they try to determine how they might improve and what went wrong with their methods. Every measurement, piece of substance, and drilling record is laid out on the table. Their conversations are long, complex, and rife with speculations and speculative situations. They discuss, theorize, and consider what might finally answer the puzzle of Oak Island next year. Everyone has a different theory about the discovery that might change everything. It has never been easy to find treasure, since it usually leaves you with nothing but broken dreams. But what keeps Craig, Rick, Marty, and the others together coming back is the promise, the notion that the dig might occur in the upcoming season. That eventually pays off. The pull of discovering something extraordinary is just too great to resist. And so, year after year, they return, driven by new strategies, new materials, and the steadfast hope that the island's greatest secrets remain unsolved, exposed. The outstanding teamwork and the pleasure and excitement of the search for whatever they could discover keep their spirits high, enough to return each year despite the repeated setbacks. In their never-ending quest for riches, the Oak Island crew creates a number of holes. Notwithstanding their unrelenting efforts, each season ends without any significant findings. With every small clue they find, Rick and Marty, the group's leader, remain hopeful that they may be on the verge of finding a precious gem, which suggests that there may be some true riches hidden beneath the surface. And we'll find out. This year, stay tuned for more. This season, they gave priority to what they consider to be a man-made route that goes to the ocean. We suspect this tunnel might have been built to protect buried wealth and might be producing unexpected water in the area of the garden shaft. Among them is this hidden passage. We don't know where this one goes. Who did it is unknown to us. We don't know why. The idea is innovative and compelling enough to keep them coming back, and it reminds me of an old-fashioned pirate story. But once they drill their 600th hole, let's look at the data. The same pattern of results, or more precisely, their lack of them, makes you question if they are genuinely on the verge of discovering something, or if they are just chasing their dreams. They believe that metal remains in the water are a sign of local riches. This conversation has become into an annual event with them over the past 5 years, always seeking something fresh. But at the moment, there are 600 holes. They believe the metal residues in the water are significant. They have experts who confirm that these discoveries are significant and not merely coincidental. This confirms their belief that these clues are leading them to an important finding. But might it be that they're just recognizing objects that are present? Because they are so passionate about finding treasure, they are viewing ordinary objects as extraordinary. The ending of every season is now known. They gather, talk about their findings, and often just ask more questions than they answer. And they prepare for the next year with a mix of determination and optimism. Even though another year has passed with no notable advancements, they review their work and plan for future steps, remaining positive throughout. At their subsequent meeting, they will passionately go over all of their data, maps, and speculations. The lack of results is disheartening. Nevertheless, the odd outcomes persist, and they remain hopeful and ready to continue. The never-ending cycle of optimism in opposition to the truth that nothing wears you out. As they conclude yet another difficult season, they reflect on the indications that nudge them back, hoping that the next exercise would finally pay off. Following numerous tries and endless speculation, aspiration are being pursued in the financial abyss. Even if a treasure is found, it still seems like a dream. Often, only natural materials would show under such close examination. But they also find strange objects in the water and dirt and spot patterns that might provide additional ideas. But driven by the excitement of the chase, they keep digging. The gang members' relationship and possibly some greed. Rumors about what might be hidden on the island inspire them to return there each year. Their ultimate goal is the Money Pit, that famous spot on the island. It is essential to their search, which keeps them alive. They are looking for more than just riches. The enthusiasm is the main focus of the inquiry, the results they obtained, and the hope that, this time, they would actually find something important. There is a noticeable sense of going through their emotions when the Oak Island group finishes their season. They've been in this situation before, packing up their gear, making their parting statements, and turning off the drills, and it seems like they've done it countless times. Their optimism remains unwavering even when they face similar challenges, review well-known hints, and make promises to do better the next year. They're already getting ready to go back, brimming with plans for the future and discussions about the possible problems this time around. This year's excavation efforts near the end of Oak Island were unsatisfactory again. When they found several old metal containers in what they called the garden shaft, the crew was buzzing with excitement. They had big ideas to drill sideways to 95 feet after excavating. Nevertheless, the area was flooded before they realized it. It seems that the same thing happens whenever they feel hopeful. No treasure, just more mud and water. It's not the end, though, of it. Anomalies in readings that revealed metal well below the surface caused the initial shock. Fred, one of the diggers, looked very confident that the idea that something big is hidden beneath was referenced in various readings. But after concentrating on an area known as the baby blob, scientists ultimately had nothing to show, but with additional water. But they're not giving us hope. The current approach is to keep digging about the northeastern area between this position and the garden shaft, in the hopes that fresh data will lead to a breakthrough. Furthermore, the group is facing significant difficulties due to the discovery of traces in 3 additional locations near the notorious Money Pit, Aladdin's Cave. One of these places is essentially a big hole in the water. It seems to contain rich metals and tiny pieces of old wood. It's almost odd how they become upset over some wooden objects floating in the water. They deal with these small findings as though they've discovered incredible artifacts that actually show how anxious they are to find anything significant, instead of focusing on the actual discoveries. This season seems to be more about stoking curiosity about what might be found. With every dig, they seem to gain more loose ends and declining credibility. The real charm of Oak Island lies not in what they find, but in how it keeps treasure seekers enthralled, chasing the thrill of possibilities rather than actual results. This resilient gang will not give up. Even though they usually only come up with stones and water, they still hold on to the possibility of hitting it rich. The legends and mythology surrounding Oak Island further fuel the flames. The allure of lost money, pirate tales, and antique treasures is sufficient to keep people interested, but they are the true stories in practice. The wealth of Oak Island. They bring in the TV, exhibitions, curious visitors, and tenacious excavators who are all drawn in by the possibility of finding something massive. Nevertheless, the digging usually ends in disappointment. The team's hope grows with each dirt shovel, believing that every clue could lead to a huge discovery. More intriguing signs. No treasure yet. It becomes a cycle of excitement and despair as they move from place to place, pursuing every small hint. From the outside, the entire operation seems incredible, complete with massive machinery, loud drilling, and eye-catching pictures. Viewers might easily get absorbed in the stress and the inconsistent results, which end up being rather normal. The group also engages with theatrical recaps at the end of each season, turning minor findings into noteworthy highlights. Aged timber pieces and artifact fragments suggest that they may be discovering shards of the island's true history, even though digging for another year hasn't really produced much. In 2019, massive wooden beams were removed from RF1 at Borehole. Some believe they were Scandinavian in origin, and they used a pickaxe and strange engravings. These findings sounded as though they may have their roots in the Middle Ages, but in reality, they merely add a little more mystery to a compelling tale that relies more on passion than on confirmed facts. In 2017, the Oak Island team thought they had literally struck gold as they delved into a place called Borehole H8. They uncovered pieces of parchment and what looked like a piece of a leather book at a depth of about 180 feet. Cover. Everyone got really excited. Every small discovery like this inspires fresh hope for what might lie beneath. But rather than focused on what is actually there, the focus is virtually always on what could be. These fleeting moments of hope, suggesting that a breakthrough is imminent, occur with every season. However, the actual results are disappointing after all the enthusiasm and magnificent celebrations. The excavations are still finding fragments that might point to anything important, but most of the time they don't. It all began with 2 brothers from Michigan who, as children, dreamed of going treasure hunting. Their early aspiration became a massive enterprise several years later, complete with heavy machinery, a vast workforce, and TV cameras that record every minute. Every piece of wood and every piece of rusty metal sparks a new conversation about what valuables might still be buried there. Everyone's attention is maintained by the possibility of finding lost relics, gold, or a priceless artifact from the past. The further they dig, layer after layer, the more convinced they are that amazing things are coming. Nevertheless, the ultimate prize always feels a bit beyond grasp. There's more. The activities on Oak Island are just as much about telling a story and creating a performance as they are about looking for hidden riches. Each season ends on a cliffhanger, leaving viewers with the hope that they may find something groundbreaking in the next year. Maybe the real value of Oak Island there isn't anything hidden. The island itself is coated in layers of mud that appear to contain scattered historical objects, making it a storehouse of countless tales. The island's fame endures because of these stories, which attract viewers throughout the year. The thrill of the speculative and the excitement of the quest are what keep this adventure continuing. With its state-of-the-art equipment, Oak Island is now like a stage for modern treasure hunters who are trying to bring myths from antiquity to life. On its own, the team dynamic, camaraderie, common goals, and the group's drive to keep going make for an engaging story. They're not just looking for gold. They're trying to finish a story that started long before they got there and are looking for answers. No matter how tiny the hope that keeps them going, every little discovery fuels them. Much like the dreams of those two young men from Michigan who once hoped to find hidden treasures, the island continues to uphold its closely guarded secrets at the conclusion of each season. The real treasure of Oak Island might be its ability to keep people dreaming, bringing them back season after season with shovels in their hearts and hope in their hearts, as they look for what might be a richly detailed tale that has been passed down through the ages. There is more to Oak Island than just historical treasure hunts. It's a place where the story doesn't really end and the prize is found in the hunt itself. It only keeps adding layers and excitement. People keep coming because of this cycle of optimism and small discoveries, returning with the hope that they could find something the next time. Truly fantastic. Is the treasure of Oak Island truly worth inconceivably much? Or is there something more profound and possibly supernatural going on here? What do you think? Please share your theories in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more thrilling treasure hunts.